Welcome and good afternoon. This is Commissioner. Today we're going to give a little update on my season ticket baseball best of the 90s tournament. Give an update on that. And if you remember from last time, by the way, head over to baseballmaelstrom.com if you want to follow the action. If you remember last time, we had four series that were all potential sweeps. All four series, one of the teams is up 2-0. And I can tell you as a preview that two of those series did end up in sweeps, but the other two are still going. So let's take a look at those games. And then at the end, we'll do a little overview of the tournament brackets. You can kind of see where that stands. So first of all, we had the New York Yankees, the 1998 New York Yankees against the 1990 Oakland Athletics. New York down 2-0 in the series, but they found new life thanks to El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, who allowed just 2 runs on 6 hits in 7 1/3 inning to improve to 2-0 in the series, or in the tournament, I should say. Struck out 6. Yankees actually took a while to get their offense going again. That's kind of been the story of the last 2 games, where their offense just hasn't shown up. Well, finally, their offense showed up in the 6th inning, aided by an error, actually. So with 1 out there, Scott Brocious hit a double, and then Chuck Knobloch followed that with a single to put runners on the corners, and then he stole second. So there was second and third with 1 out, and then Derek Jeter actually hit a 2-run single to give the Yankees the lead, the 2-1 lead at that point. Paul O'Neill followed that with another base hit, and then ended up advancing on a throwing error. Paul O'Neill attempted to steal, and Terry Steinbach threw the ball into the outfield, and O'Neill advanced. Jeter scored, and then Bernie Williams followed that with another base hit. So Yankees ended up scoring 4 runs in the 6th inning to take a 4-1 lead. Oakland would get 1 more in the 8th as Hernandez was tiring there. But that's as close as they would get. And actually, the Yankees would add an insurance run in the 9th to win this one 5-2. So New York's offense finally showing up a little bit, but they're still down 2-1. Mariano Rivera pitched a clean 9th inning for the save here. It's 4th save of the tournament. Still hasn't allowed an earned run yet. And that's kind of where we leave things in the tournament. So the Yankees have a little bit more life. Again, this is in the winner's bracket, so even if they lose, they still won't be eliminated. But of course, they hope to win the next 2 games and then kind of push this series. Next, we head over to the 1998 Atlanta Braves and the 1994 Montreal Expos series. And in this one, Atlanta taking a 2-0 lead, hoping to complete the sweep, and that's just what happens here. Is John Smoltz, their number 4 starter, believe it or not. Such a deep pitching staff, pitching rotation in that year. Smoltz goes 8 innings, allowing just 1 run on 6 hits, 7 strikeouts, didn't walk any, and Montreal just couldn't do it. They did score a run. Each of the teams scored a run in the 2nd, but then Atlanta scored in the 5th, the 6th, and 2 in the 7th, thanks to a Javi Lopez 2-run shot against Mel Rojas, actually, in the 7th inning to give them a little bit more breathing room. They took a 5-1 lead into the bottom of the 9th, and Mike Cather actually came in to pitch. I believe it's Mike. Came in to pitch the 9th for Atlanta with a 4-run lead, and then ran into some trouble as he walked Rondell White to lead off the inning. Will Cordero singled, and then Darren Fletcher hit a 3-run homer to close the gap to 5-4 at that point. Kerry Lightenberg actually came in and picked up the save, shutting down Montreal the rest of the way. It's his 3rd save of the tournament. Smoltz improves to 1-0. And and Atlanta takes this one 5-4 to knock Montreal out of the tournament. Andres Galarraga actually got injured in this one, but with the off days that they have, he's not expected to miss any more playing time. So Atlanta sweeps Montreal. Montreal not able to pick up a win in this one. Of course, this is in the winner's bracket, so Atlanta actually advances to the finals, the National League Championship Series. Montreal will drop down to the loser's bracket and hope to fight their way back up. Next, we go to the other American League Series, 1995 Cleveland Indians and the 1993 Toronto Blue Jays. And this, once again, was another team facing elimination here. Cleveland, who's been just battered by injuries. And luck was not on their side in this one. Toronto scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first. The injuries were so bad that Herbert Perry had to play shortstop to start this game, or for this game. And let's just take a look at those injuries real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So, earlier in the series, or earlier in the tournament, I should say, Jim Tomei actually got injured in the second game of the tournament. He just came back from injury a couple games ago, but he's been out this whole time. In the same game he got injured, Alvaro Espinoza, the backup third baseman, got injured. And he was supposed to come back here in a couple of days if they would have survived in the tournament. So they had, Herbert Perry playing third base, third string third baseman. Now with Jim Thome back, though, they didn't need Herbert Perry to play third base anymore. However, Eddie Murray then got injured. And then in the last game, Omar Vizquel was added to the injury list as well. So they were without Vizquel, Espinoza, and Murray in this final game. And, Espinoza would have been the backup shortstop. They didn't have another shortstop, on the roster. So Herbert Perry was forced to play shortstop in this final game. And it cost a couple of the runs here in the first inning, as there are a couple grounders that any other shortstop probably would have gotten to, but he didn't. So Joe Carter had a 2-run single here in the first, give Toronto an early lead. He had another RBI single in the third, so Toronto had a 3-0 lead at that point. And Cleveland just didn't have any life left in them. Juan Guzman allowed just 5 hits and a run, struck out 8 in 8 innings, and Cleveland just never really got anything going. They finally scored in the 8th inning, but by then they were down 5-0, so that made it 5-1. Mike Timlin came in to pitch the 9th. They did score another run in the 9th, but a very, very sad tournament for the 1995 Cleveland Indians, as they get knocked out, eliminated from the tournament. Heading to the other National League Series now. It's the 1998 Houston Astros against the 1999 Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona also facing elimination. And it looked bad for them early on, as Houston scored in the first. They scored in the second. Arizona did get a run back in the bottom of the second, but then Houston scored 3 runs in the fourth against Reynoso and had a 5-1 lead at that point. Mike Hampton was kind of doing well enough, but then in the bottom of the fourth, Matt Williams hit a 2-run shot to kind of energize the Arizona offense. They'd score another run in that inning to cut the lead back down to 1 run, 5-4 at that point. In the very next inning, it was Matt Williams again with another 2-run homer to give Arizona the lead, 6-5 at that point. And Hampton would end up exiting after 6 innings with after allowing a couple more, one more run in the 6th. So Arizona had a 7-5 lead at that point. They'd score a couple more runs off Scott Ellerton, thanks to a Steve Finley 2-run homer. That gave them a 9-5 lead. And Houston would actually threaten in the ninth against Greg Olson, scoring a couple of runs, but that would be the end of it. As a couple of flyouts to end the game in this one. Houston drops this one 9-7. Arizona keeps their hopes alive. I believe Randy Johnson's pitching the next game, so it'll be interesting, as this is also an elimination series. Houston just needs to win one more to advance. Let's take a look at the bracket real quick, and we can see so Oakland is up 2-1 on the Yankees here. The winner of that goes to the American League Championship Series. Toronto has advanced down here. Indians are eliminated. Toronto will play the loser of this Oakland-New York series up here. Atlanta has advanced to the National League Championship Series in the National League side of things. And Houston and Arizona fighting it out here to avoid elimination down in the National League losers bracket. Houston just needing that one more win to advance. So with all of that said, let's take a look at Cleveland now that they're out of it. So Cleveland 2-6 on the tournament, not very good. They had a 269 batting average, which isn't that bad. It's a little below the average of the league, but their pitching just let them down. ERA of nearly 5. They just couldn't really get anything going. They lost 6 straight. They lost 6 straight games to kind of end their run. And they did have a couple of bright spots, though. Kenny Lofton hit 452 in the tournament. He had a home run at one point. He had 5 stolen bases. So, he was doing everything he could do. Carlos Baerga hit 394, so that's another bright spot. Herbert Perry, even though he was basically came in to fill in for those injuries, hit 370 during his time filling in. So definitely some bright spots. Jim Tomei, he was, he had missed some time with injury, but even when he was in, he only went 1 for 12. Big disappointment there. Manny Ramirez only hit 133. Albert Bell only hit 226. So they were just, some of those big bats just kind of let them down. On the pitching side, as I mentioned, the story doesn't get any better. Charles Nagy actually had an ERA of over 7 in his 3 starts. Oral Hershiser had an ERA of 6 in his couple of starts. Dennis Martinez had an ERA of over 5 in his couple of starts. Yeah, it's no wonder that they couldn't advance. Even despite all of the offensive woes with the injuries, the pitching staff just wasn't there to back them up. Didn't really give them a shot to stay in this one. And so sad to see them go. There was a lot of potential there. But that marks the end. So they had a one of the worst ERAs, except for the White Sox, who were swept out in the first round. But other than that, Cleveland was right there next to them in terms of worst ERA, so not very good. Surprisingly, the number 3 worst is Toronto here, but they're advancing. But they also have the offense to back it up, the 322 team batting average for Toronto. Once the end of this round is done, we'll take a better look at the overall stats and the leaders and such. But once again, here's a little update on the tournament. Be watching here in a couple of weeks. I will actually have a poll out to see which decade I do next. I know there's still quite a bit of time left in this tournament, but I'll be in the next few months probably taking a look at what decade I'm doing next. The first tournament I did was 1930s. This one's 1990s. And so I'm very excited to see what's gonna be the next decade that we're gonna do. But again, plenty of time left in this one. who do you think is going to win the whole thing here? Atlanta, obviously, in a prime position, but it's still anybody's game. Anybody's game. Who do you think is going to be the best team of the 1990s? Drop that in the comments. As always, head over to baseballmaelstrom.com if you want to follow the action. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts on who will win the tournament. With all of that said, that's where we will leave things today. I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much for all the support. And until next time, have a great evening.